Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are going to be looking at 40 big blinds, the button strategy versus the big blind. Probably one of the most important spots to understand because you are going to be playing this spot a lot. So we remember from our range construction that the button is going to be with the offsuit eights and the suited fives, with a few of the best cards that contain flushes, a few of the cards along the pair axis that contain suited connectors, and a few extra of the best offsuit high cards. That's going to be the basic construction of range here. The big blind is going to be defending against raises from the button with a wide variety of hands. Every offsuit hand, every suited hand, and offsuit sixes. His three bets are going to come from value-based hands that are suited here, blockers, aces and kings that are offsuit, and a jam strategy consisting of ace, queen, ace, jack, king, queen, and small pairs. So without further ado, we will move into some trainer work. And while we do that, we will also look at some of the general heuristics of how the button plays. All right, pocket threes. I think we're pretty confident that this one is going to open. And we get a call. So while we're here, before we really look at a flop, we're going to take a general look at the reports we have here. And we're going to take a look at the strategy of the button in general. Now, this box down here is all the possible flops that can come out. And they are sorted by the high card that is coming. So from here on up is all ace high flops. From here to here is all king high flops, queen high, jack high, etc., until we get all the way down to deuce high flops, right? Our one deuce high flop, triple deuce, never check on a triple deuce. As you can see, the green is where we're going to be doing some checking. The orange colors are going to be small betting. The white colors are going to be medium-sized betting. The blue is going to be big betting, and the red is going to be over bet. So as you can see across all the different textures here, we're using a wide variety of sizes for a wide variety of play on a wide variety of hands in a spot where we're very wide against a guy who's very wide. So this is going to be fun.
What was the white for again?
So the white is mid-size bets. So that's
Okay.
going to be just about 55 to 60% sizing.
Okay.
Pretty prevalent. If we take a look here, move this up. We go through the ace high strategies. Paired ace boards, we are betting a lot, but we are betting small. As we continue down with an ace with a Broadway card, we see a wide variety of it, betting an awful lot. Really only checking on some monotone boards. Continuing down through ace with another Broadway, we also see that there are big bets. And moving into the lower cards, when we get to this area here with ace and 7 or lower, we really start to lose our big bets and just have a much more robust small bet strategy. With the king boards, again, paired kings, we're going to be betting a lot. King with another Broadway card, we're going to have some smaller bets and some bigger bets. the more connected the board is, generally, we're going to be using bigger sizings more often. And that's going to hold true as we continue throughout the king boards and into the queen boards. We're going to see that as well with a queen and another high card. And that continues through to the jack high boards and the 10 high boards. And jack 10 boards are a very specific circumstance where we're going to see some bigger bets a lot here. So back to our solver and our question of the day. Pocket threes on 10-8-6. Is this a board that we want to bet small or big? Or do we want to check? Who thinks they want to weigh in here?
I elect Gilleen.
Go ahead. Give us a story, Cheat Win. How big?
No, I'm electing Gilleen.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you're electing me? Absolutely.
yeah. I know. I
I'll
love
speak
when you
up.
speak, so.
Well, thank you. So a 10-8-6 board is a condensed board. It's going to connect well with our opening range and well with its calling range. So we're going to have components of our range that want to protect their equity. And the components that we do want to bet, we're gonna have to work a little bit harder to get regions of his range to fold because they're gonna have picked up additional equity here. Let's say a hand like 6-9, maybe a hand like 7-8. They're not gonna just fold to a small bet. So this is a texture where you're gonna see a lot of large betting and a lot of checking, I would guess. Polarization.
But there's also completed equity with the possibility of a flop straight too, right?
Which is, yep,
7-9
you're right,
offsuit
Pete.
is gonna be in his range too, so.
You are correct. It's gonna make us behave a little bit. We can't just go absolutely crazy.
Yeah,
I
no,
think-
no clicking the 7.6 button here.
Yeah, I was just gonna
But,
say, I think 5's probably predominant size, but.
I would agree, Ken.
I think
Yep.
I'm actually checking and saying no. I think the 2s and 3s will bluff some, but I'm like, I'm not doing it.
Oh, I'm with you, Ken. Yeah, a board like this where we start to polarize, it's gonna push our under pairs typically into the check bracket.
You know what?
Alright,
Actually, I think 5s and 4s will bluff before 2s and 3s now, because they can actually pick up some equity, right?
Ryan, you have a question?
Yeah, I'm just wondering, is it also relevant that we unblock spades? And because it connects with the big blinds range as well as ours, like there's a higher frequency of check raise here on a board like this.
You're
Yep.
right, for sure. The fact that we don't have a spade would even push us further into a check. I think if we were looking for evidence to bet, you would probably want a spade here.
So let's give it a click and see that it is 99.1% checking.
See if 4s are I think 4s and 5s might bet here and 2s and 3s aren't.
I think that's a good intuition, Ken. As they have some connectivity to the straight or block connectivity to the straight.
No, they're not doing it.
But nope, they are
so-
not.
This board is checking a lot, I guess, because the 8 and the 6 versus I want to see 10-8-2. Are we betting a lot? We're probably 10-8-4, 10-8-5.
There's-
So the difference, Vivian, I think would be, you see how we only have 1.2% that big overbet size? I think if you don't have any completed equity, meaning like a 5-card hand, like a straight. Like, let's say you made the 6 like a deuce, like you're saying, it's gonna drive our polarization up higher, I think.
Yeah, so I guess we can bet more. Well, that's the two-tone now.
Well, so it pushed it up a little bit, but not a bunch. But notice the check, okay, so it's like. We're filling in more small bets here than checking. Okay, even further now, like, it's even more of a bet and we're even seeing larger sizings.
Yeah, because there's a completed straight with the 10-8-6. So I guess we have to check a lot more.
Yeah, we have to behave a little bit more like, right?
I don't like behaving though.
And I mean, hey, maybe a 3's gonna roll off. All right. So we get this turn card. Does this card improve our hand? Not really.
Not really, man.
Gives us this very small size. Is anyone thinking of sticking around or folding?
I'm
Or
calling.
getting
This is a
Chris-
disrespectful bet that he's making here.
You know, I wanna say fold, but I'm actually kinda wanna see what our checking range is again to see what we have to defend here. Cause we're not checking a lot of stuff, right?
No, we are
Uh,
checking a lot of
we're
stuff, Ken.
checking a
Half
lot.
the range.
Yeah, we were checking about 40% on the flop here.
I'm folding.
Yeah, folding.
If you find a call here, it's pretty thin. I think I would rather call with a 4 and another card than a 3 here.
Hey,
just-
let's play the game, Pete. What's the worst combo we're defending here? Full frequency,
like-
to be fair.
Or with a king here.
You're not gonna
Right.
defend your ace kings?
Nope, I'm not gonna defend. Oh, ace king. I think I'm gonna fold some ace kings here. Yeah, I think
I'm
we have enough
defending,
pairs.
Yeah, you
think
can
I'm
call like
defending
ace five,
any-
ace 7.
I wanna
Ace
defend any
nine.
2 over cards. I'm gonna say versus that bet.
I think we have enough ace 7 and ace 9 that we don't need to defend ace king. We're gonna have some better equities. Like ace king of spades will defend, but, and we have enough flush draws. I don't think we have to defend ace king offsuit here,
Hmm.
but we'll take
We're
a
calling
look.
look.
we're calling pocket fives, right?
Uh,
yeah.
Calling any 9 or 7 with an overcard.
Yeah, even the sixes are gonna still defend, right?
So look at that. Yeah. King, jack is the indifferent one where it's kinda like whatever.
It's only folding 11% of the time here,
Jesus.
right?
Yeah, it's the king jacks. I was gonna just say, I said any 2 over cards, but king jack is the one.
It's all the fours.
No,
King-
we have a lot more pairs than I thought, like, because I guess we're opening a lot of the, since we're button, we gotta open all the suited sixes. So we have a lot of pairs, so we don't have to, we gotta fold these threes.
Yeah, and all our 5s and all our 7s and all our 9s have straight equity, so I am
Mhm.
surprised that we are calling like the ace kings here.
It's just too cheap, man. Like the 1.2, like he gave us like. It's
He's being
almost like a,
disrespectful.
I like that
being
terminology, Vivian. I like it. It is disrespectful.
But to be honest, ace king off is 0.07 chips, right? So this is as low as it goes. Right? It's yeah. All right. So we did, oh, look at him bluff us out with 3 high. Sick. All right. King 10. All right. And, oh, we face a 3-bet. What's our strategy going to be facing 3-bets today?
This has gotta be a fold.
This is a call.
Yeah, I think it's a
Is it?
call versus but.
It's a call from the button. Your instinct's correct. Like this folds from all other positions, but from the button, we defend offsuit tens
Okay.
mainly.
Let's take a look at that solution while we're here.
I mean, he's
It's a great
definitely three
time.
betting with worse kings, so
We for sure defend versus small blind. Yeah, it's even in there versus the big blind.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
it's in-
can defend here, but these offsuit 10s are the very bottom of range and they're starting to mix folds, so.
So honestly, the short, long story short, you're not making a mistake by letting these go.
Especially since these are chip EV ranges, so like, I bet
Yep.
you, like, if you look at like 50% left, etc., you might see a different for the bottom of the range.
Mhm.
I don't
yeah.
find that population, three bets, king 7, king 8, king 6, queen 8, queen 7, queen 6 enough. Or whatever, like one tip lower than that. So I think it's a majority fold. But again, like Galen said,
Population does not
Big.
3-bet enough from the big blind specifically. The
Yep.
small blind, they do know that they're supposed to 3-bet generally, but the big blind,
We'll see,
Just
like
have
the
to be
EV that you're collecting, the EV you're collecting from these offsuit tens is coming from this region that Peter's highlighting really. Like these worst kings, these worst queens, these worst jacks. So like, these are pretty unintuitive 3 bets, really, like. they're hard to find. Most people don't find them. So if these aren't in the range, these offsuit tens are actually doing pretty poorly, right?
Cause if you look at what he's raising as his value side, pocket nines plus ace 10 plus ace 9. So king 10 is really gonna struggle if a
Mhm.
guy is not finding these type of three bets. But
Yeah, you just have to be
You're-
cognizant of who you're against in the big blind, I think. You can't just automatically dismiss it and say no one has them. Some
Oh,
people
you're
are gonna
right.
overdo it as well, so.
Well, and some people also misplay these, low pairs, right? Like if these low pairs are not all in three bets, ace, king 10 is gonna be doing much better. But if you're playing against a player who recognizes that these are jams, then king 10's not gonna be doing great if they're not finding the trashy king 5, you know?
Right.
So
And I
it
mean-
depends.
a lot of people simplify and just three bet jam eights through deuces here. Right, so
Mhm.
they don't find the non all in three bet with pocket fives and pocket fours and pocket sixes, so.
Yeah, put me in that camp.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, Reiner. This is I'm making a video actually covering some of this topic where it's, you can't always take, these chippy V ranges for face value. Like, you gotta think about them a little bit.
So we do find a call from the bottom of our range here.
Galen, you're gonna start making lots of videos.
I'm gonna try. No promises.
Vivian, we're getting a disrespectful bet.
I think this is a more respectful call though, because we actually have a reasonable amount of equity with our gut shot here and we're in position. Compared to the other time where we didn't even have a suit.
You gotta call this, yeah, obviously.
So how often are
So
you raising?
Oh. Actually, in
not-
the Matt Affleck video, you're actually supposed to freaking raise these, and I was raising these at like very low clip and probably being very imbalanced, but I'm
What
not
value
sure
hands
our
do you
our
raise here?
raising, I'm not sure our raising range.
uh,
I don't
Raising,
think we have a raising range
is,
really,
no,
because
Nick's
of,
right, Nick's right.
we don't have
It's a
ace queen, we
3-bet
don't have
pot,
aces,
never
we don't have
mind.
queens. I guess we have
I think
aces,
we
but
call, it's a 3-bet pot, we're not raising, you're correct.
Well,
I thought I was thinking a single raise, it's a 3-bet
Well,
pot.
you also like, you're in position, like you don't really have a raising range as playing from the back foot in position that much. You will have some raises, but it's not gonna exceed like 25-30% of your range. And the combos that are in there are like these fragments.
Yep,
Like you see
so
here.
This one does find to raise 8% of the time. Right, I don't like it with the king 10, I like it with the jack 10 better. Right, his king 10 just has a bit more showdown. But
Well, that and it's an ace high board, man. I feel like we're just gonna be, we're just gonna get 5-bet jammed on a lot here.
Yeah.
Or,
So-
4-bet jammed on.
yeah, as you can see, the vast majority against this size, we just don't fold anything. And we're calling 80% and we're finding a few bluff raises with our worst aces that are going to raise fold. Our worst,
You're raise folding an ace?
I don't think the aces are raise folding, I think they're stacking off.
Oh, these are definitely
Raise
raise calls
stack
at
off?
40. Yeah, I would be shocked if they're raise folds.
Which is
Yeah.
why I think raising is bad here, because we don't have like any value hands, we have to call off with these miserable ace X.
Let's see.
yeah, it all calls
Yeah,
off.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're like they're like 40 EV, like these are very profitable calls.
With just an ace. Alright. Let's get back
Well,
to
it's-
our suited problem.
Mhm.
Alright, so we gin the turn. And he
Ooh.
checks.
Well, I think we polarize turns. Don't go too big. I would go like geometrical, something. I like 12 big blinds here, I think.
See, if we bet 6, pot's gonna go to 32.
I'm camp
I would
11
bet
as
somewhere
well.
between 6 and 12.
Yeah,
bet like-
12's
I'd
on
bet
the
like-
big.
I bet like 8 or 9.
I'm with you, Nick. I'm with you. I like a mergey size personally, but out of these, I'm going 12.
I like a nonsense 2.4.
Gabriel, yes, 12 would be polarizing. It's what most of our range is gonna wanna do here on the turn. It's it's a large bet relative to the pot and our remaining chips in our stack.
We're gonna take a look. I'm gonna use the 6 size here a lot. We'll take a peek.
I think 6 is correct, but I like the
Yeah, 6
nonsense.
is good.
Yeah, we have him
Six-
drawing to 4 outs, make a full house a lot of the times. We have him drawing to 3 outs to chop with us a lot of the times. There's a lot of the times where he's just really in bad here, and because we have the king of hearts, we
Yeah, it's just
block a
too much
lot of
locked
the
up,
flush
man.
combos. So it's hard for him to make a flush that isn't the ace high flush here, so.
I just thought stuff
So-
like king 9, 10, 9 would wanna go bigger, so like.
What's
That's
the
what,
majority of our range doing on this turn?
The
Sorry, Ryan?
Sorry, just a quick question. Given the pre-flop and flop line that was taken, is 6 not also better because it allows for the big blind to check raise us?
Yeah, he can
Whereas
definitely
he-
check jam us here.
I
So
think
Yeah,
it's
that's
just a
true.
function of the SPR. The SPR is like 1 right now, right? So if we bet 6, we bet small, we can do it with a lot of our range and, we can always get the money in on the river.
Mhm.
I think we're probably betting 6 a lot here.
And most of the time, the board is not gonna change in a way that's gonna be very scary for us, so.
So 6 is the primary sizing here by like a mile.
It's 3 times as popular as the slightly bigger sizing. So the
Mhm.
slightly bigger sizing wants to go with ace and a straight draw, a straight blocker. Right? And sets of aces want to use the bigger sizing because they
Mhm.
fear the runouts. Right? And pocket kings, I don't know what this is.
worst king, so he's using the worst king X to some frequencies.
But yeah, whenever you're doing it with your value, you're doing it with the bluff as well.
Like jamming jack queen on a final table.
Not just jamming jack queen, but 2.5x pot jamming jack queen.
Yes.
That was my favorite part.
With flush completes, we are the caller in a 3-bet pot. It's generally good for us with 2 high cards down. It's hard for him to have the flush here. Are people stuffing the turkey?
Yeah, I'm just
Yep.
all in here.
100% of the time jamming.
So, if we don't have the heart and the straight, are we still just jamming?
100% of the time jamming with the
If I
straight.
have a straight, I'm still jamming, yeah.
I think so too.
We'll take a quick peek at that.
What about sets? Where does it draw the line, I guess, is what I'm
Ooh,
wondering.
I'm not jamming a set, I don't think.
Well, half pot left, aren't we just putting our chips in one of our really good hand sets, 2 pair straights?
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah, the pots.
Yeah,
It,
any
just like, what do you
ace?
get called by if you have pocket aces?
Oh, man, if it's putting the aces in, it's not even worth looking at. Like the aces, if the aces don't care, the sets don't care.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's range jamming. It's everything.
Yeah, it's just putting all the chips in.
You're
Just
jamming
drawing the
pocket
line with your
fours.
queen X. Yeah, queen X is like, okay, let's show it down.
queens and jacks want to show down. Everything else wants to stuff.
Pretty interesting. Yeah, I mean, we just got so much in the middle, it doesn't matter.
Look at this guy find the fragments of the 3-bet with jack 9 offsuit.
Mm-hmm.
And he called that turn bet, what a fish.
He called for a chop. All right, king 5. Is
I
this a
think
raise
this
or
is
a fold?
I think it's towards the floor. I think like it mixes or king
I think it
four
mixes as
folds.
well.
Yeah, you can raise it.
I raise it.
King
I
6
think,
is the floor.
Oh,
Oh, kept it in. There's a couple of
What's-
these you'll see, just to kind of keep us honest on our ranges. This is a primary fold.
trying
Yeah.
to find more opens from the button. Can't go that far.
Sure you can. People don't 3-bet enough, so it makes opening the button wider profitable.
yep, that's what I was gonna say, Nick. That's, I open, I am very out of line.
All right, so we get the turkey stuffed on us. This guy's gonna show us pocket 3s here,
Mm-hmm.
pocket 7s.
Sevens.
flipping.
Close enough.
Yep.
Alright,
Raise.
okay, here's a pretty good board. What do you think, Pete?
We have two Broadway cards. We have some connectedness between the 10 and the 6 with the 7, 8, 9.
Yep.
We hold one of those cards and we hold the ace of spades here, so that we have a lot of potential to barrel on turns when a spade comes. We have lots of ways to pick up equity.
Yep.
I like a
like-
small
I-
bet.
I think
I was gonna
7.6.
I
I
know
like
that
3.35.
I was gonna go pot, but it ain't there, so I think you gotta go a little over pot, I think.
Ken's a savage.
I think this is gonna be like a small bet, like 60% of the time, and then like 2/3, 40% of the time.
how often do you think this hand is checking?
Not on this texture, not very, I don't think it checks.
Yeah. I don't think we're
30%
checking it over.
checks.
Like 10.
I think
say
better
0.
aces can bet more for value and worse aces can fold out. Aces like this,
Well, the thing is, we can call it
Ace nine's
checkers with
never
this
folded.
hand. Well, never mind. Alright.
it's the it's
So
the
let's check it.
it's the problem of being the ace in the middle, right?
Mm,
It wants to check the middle aces and bet the better aces and the worse aces is gonna be my guess here.
Yeah, I thought the 9, because it had straight, you have straight interaction with everything there with the 9. And the ace, they both have straight interaction, so I didn't think it would ever check.
So yeah, when we look here, right, we can see that these middle aces want to check. These bottom aces want to bet and these top aces want to bet.
So we do go, what size is 5.5? Oh, is that 80?
So that's 80%. So it does bet a fair amount, so it's certainly not a problem to bet here, but it does have a healthy
Yeah.
check as well.
Vince, is
Looks
that,
like,
or Nick?
looks like the,
That's Nick.
mhm.
Can you hear me?
I'm
Yeah,
working
am I
on my,
making a bunch
big-
of noise?
I'm working on my big bet, so I'm gonna be getting some of these wrong. I've been using the over bet when it's 80%. I'm using 80% when it's the over bet so far.
I had my colors backwards. The 9 of spades wants to bet
Mute?
3.3.
Am I on mute?
Nope,
No.
we could hear
No,
you.
I, no,
Oh, okay,
no, I
okay.
hear you.
All right, so when we do take the bet line, we get a call and a good card for our range comes in. We improve equity with a double belly here. Yeah, 10 king.
I'm going
13.
blue again.
I like really polarizing. Did we play check on the flop or did we play bet on the flop?
13,
We
26,
bet and we
36,
bet,
39.
big. We bet 80% on the flop.
I'm not, honestly, I'm not too familiar with these like. Double
Actually, I
barreling
think we checked.
situations. I think we're gonna slow down because his continuing range is strong,
Yeah.
but I don't,
agree.
but I
But he
don't
still
know.
doesn't have ace king.
No, he doesn't.
Oh, but he's never folding like Jack 10, Queen Jack, Queen
Start,
10.
is he gonna fold a 10?
Like
So-
we're not
I mean,
getting
I'll call
enough
10,
stuff.
9, I'll call king 10, but a lot of his other 10s are just like, ugh.
So when we over polarize flops, I think like the primary lines with these types of hands is gonna be like. Bet check and then we play rivers. Whereas like, the small bets, it's like small bet polar, it's like bet lines. So
Right,
he's telling us he's got a strong range here because he called our big bet. And while we did pick up equity, I think it would behoove us to try to realize at this point, given the
wonder if we
option.
shove here.
No,
No.
I want to realize equity.
It sounds like
Um,
there's a real wide diversity of opinions here, so let's go around the horn and see what everyone thinks.
Mhm.
Who wants to weigh in first here?
I'm shoving.
Hey,
I
Ken
don't like
likes it.
shove.
Nick doesn't like it.
So the way I look at this spot is we don't have too many worse hands. We have a lot of pairs. We have like 7, 8 suited. Some weak ace X, like, do we wanna barrel ace 5 of diamonds to get stuff to fold? I don't think so. Um, Well, I lean towards betting, yeah, large. And then
Okay.
checking back maybe like 20%.
Okay, so Nick is heavily in the big bet. Galen, do you want to weigh in?
So my only question is. How, if we bet large here, how do we play versus jam?
Fold.
So we're gonna torch a open-ended straight draw then, after we put in like half of our stack?
Yes.
Yikes, that's why I check.
That's
Okay.
why I went towards the shove. I figured, I thought about that, and I didn't like that size. I figured it's a check or all in, so I'm going all in. Cause I'm aggro.
No problem. Who else? Who else has a different opinion here?
Is this one of those spots where a case can be made for a jam in a cash game, but a check in a tournament? Like the tournament life is, I want to keep the pot small with a hand this good. It has showdown value still. And like, yeah, we got a double gut shot to the straight, so like,
I
I
like.
just,
what
I
you're
want to see the
thinking
river
right
and
now.
not get blown off it.
Okay,
Right.
so there's a case for check.
Our nine blocks most of the straights he's gonna have, and our ace king, he doesn't have. So we have the best straights and we block the straights that he's going to have to some extent.
Saeed
That's
is
why
betting
wrote-
20. He loves
we-
it with the overbet.
I
If
would
we-
like to weigh in here a little bit. We have
Sure.
the ace of spades, which makes
Mhm,
his
we do.
flats more value heavy.
Mm-hmm,
Okay.
mm-hmm.
So like when we
you-
blast here, we're gonna lose a lot.
So are
Yeah,
you
I
on
would
team
s-
check.
I would say it's almost impossible for him not to have a pair here. And I just don't know what he would be folding.
All right,
like,
Eric
maybe-
from the dentist office.
Yeah, I will check and bluff pretty much off the river card if possible.
All right, so I'm gonna put a couple of quick questions out there for you guys to consider. Does he have ace king? Does he have ace queen? And does he have king queen here?
So
But-
he shouldn't have ace, king. King, queen, I think he will have some frequencies.
Hmm.
Of king, queen. What was the other combos?
Ace king, the nut straight,
Well, yeah, no, ace, king, he doesn't have.
and ace queen.
King. He shouldn't have ace, queen either.
We still have the range and nut advantage here. So I think it's still gonna bet. But let's take a peek.
Nope, you
It's-
guys are
Damn it,
right.
I was just about to
bets.
say that's probably a
Wow.
better sizing than 13 too.
I am such a nit.
I spewed.
Yeah, so the jack completes the draws for the hands that we have and he does not have. So we have the range advantage and the nut advantage with having more sets than he does here. So unfortunately, we do not get to check, but the overbet is going to push us to only play against his value hands. And our hands like ace king want to keep the fish on the line.
I take
Yeah.
some solace in that I have the yellow circle of caution and not the red triangle of death of you blasters that just jam there.
Yeah, you see that 4.4 EV? It's the exact same EV.
Yeah.
Exact same E EV.
So now we have a clear division between the punters and the nits in this group.
Mm-hmm, yep.
And yeah, you can see that it is checking 23% of the time globally, and it is primarily using this half pot size on all kinds of things, just because we do contain the nut advantage here. Look
Yeah.
at it being so sick checking with trip jacks here, though. Gross. Balance your check a set.
Jacks are kind of sketchy, I guess, cuz you unblock all of the straights.
All right. So
Um,
We bet,
you
right?
gotta jam.
I'm giving up.
So did you bet the turn?
we did
Yep.
bet the turn. The turn was like 98% bet, so we bet the turn. So we bet
I'm
flop, we
jam-
bet turn.
I
Gotta
jam here.
blast, gotta blast it, right? Gotta blast
I
your
would
way out.
jam.
I think I'm always
It's-
giving up this hand.
It's one of the worst
This is
card to
where I give
bluff.
up. I don't know. It doesn't feel like a good, I mean, don't we want him to have spades?
Yeah, we want him to have the ace of spades, which makes it bad. We want him to have a 9 that was drawing, so that's bad. And
Points.
we actually beat some showdown hands, like if he has 9, 5 of spades or something, we can check and
Hmm.
take our showdown. I think we have better bluffs. I could be wrong, but that's just how I look at it.
Okay, so
I
are
think
you
I'm
betting,
targeting,
are you going all in with ace nine of diamonds here, Nick?
Yes.
Let's take a
I like,
piece.
Yeah,
Giving
it's
up.
Yeah,
it's
I
it's
wanted
one
to
of
check.
it's one of the worst card to bluff.
My
Yeah, we
Yeah.
have to give up a certain percentage of our range that we bet on the turn. And so now I don't know what extra hands are we folding out on the rivers. This river specifically just seems that it didn't change any of the,
yeah, I think
so ace nine looks like it has some jams, but not really much.
Yeah,
It-
what offsuit is it jamming? Just,
We have a
It's
lot
just
of worse
spades.
we have a lot of worse aces that wanna blast.
You need it wants the 9 of spades, so
weird.
like there's, it is kind of weird, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean, it makes sense,
essentially,
like, we can jam all of our king X that bricked everything, all of our low straight draws that bricked everything,
Mhm.
6, 7, 8, 8, 7.
You need the, you want the king. You want him to be able to fold ace X that he's getting sticky with. Like,
Yep.
if you're jamming all of your kings and aces, I guess it's just too much.
isn't it just that those are lower in our range? Like those king X, king nines, and then ace wheels are lower in the range than the ace
Well,
nine.
it's just a different way of saying the same thing, like. Lower in the range means that you can target higher components of the range, so it's like, if he's got ace X, like some of these wheels and stuff. You can get him to fold when you just have like a king, like king 7 or something.
When you have 5-4 suited and you jam, everything he folds was beating you.
Yep,
so, and when you are full, when you are pushing these ones, you get to push these ones as well. Right, kind of one of the heuristics you see is as these guys bluff, these guys bluff as well.
mhm.
Yeah, a lot. That's most of it is the case most of the time.
I saw Gabriel raising his hand. You
Yeah, I
don't
did
technically
too.
have to, but you can.
He
oh
said, I
yeah,
like check, I like
Yeah.
check back.
I mean he check called us on 2 streets already. So to me, he has like a marginal made hand that just wants to get to showdown and doesn't want to commit too much to the pot. And he could probably punish all misdraws, and there's a lot of misdraws here.
Mhm.
With like the marginal made hand. So that's why I just
Yeah.
like checking, so you're just like losing the least amount possible off of missing your draws.
Yeah, and
What
look at him
bad
call
was what bad
two
was
streets with
Darlin?
queen four. Sorry, Eric?
Yeah,
How bad was the all in?
How bad was it?
I think it
Yeah.
was plus.
It's plus EV.
Break even.
It's better to go all in than any other bet size, but it ain't great.
it's like yeah, I mean, it's like a third as bad. Or a third as good as checking.
I would like to point out that if I ever saw his hand, queen four off, I would mark him as a player who can't fold top pair.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, you're supposed to be sticky with top pair button versus big blind.
Yep. I like a
Alright.
small bet here, Pete, I
With
think.
top pair.
So we have a marginal made hand with a backdoor flush draw.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, queen 8-6. This is a more reasonably connected board. So I think it's going to want to size up if you want to bet. But I don't think our marginal made hand is going to want to check a lot.
I think this is a
Yeah.
high frequency check as well.
I like
think it's
checking or
good.
betting small.
I think it's going to pick between these two.
I think I bet 2 in game.
I'm checking this like 80% of the time.
If you're checking 80% of the time, you're well on the way. Yeah, it is not really finding any bets. It wants to, the marginal made hand takes over the elements of this spot. And remember, he has all the offsuit eights and all the offsuit queens. So he's still here
Mhm.
with lots of better hands than us. Well, gosh, golly gee.
Man, I kinda like raising this if we play check on the flop.
You have to raise pretty big though, right? You have to do the bigger raise, not the smaller one, I think.
If you-
Versus smaller bet, it's gonna be a larger raise, I think.
Yeah,
If
like
you
the 5x9.
raise and he re-raises, what's your response?
Well, if he jams, fair enough. I probably call.
Yeah, it's just a disaster in my mind. I pure call this and just play in position.
Yeah, I think it's just a
Marginal
call.
hand with the draw.
Mm-hmm.
I think the overriding component is gonna be that we have some showdown equity here.
It is. It definitely
Gonna
is.
Keep him wide, but it does find a primary
Yeah,
response
that's-
of
Look
a
at you
big
go.
fat raise.
Yes, woo. 2 for 2.
Savage.
So if we raise,
I just don't know if he jams too much.
He
Like,
shouldn't
what's his
really-
response?
Cause what are you jamming with? In my mind, I feel like that you're not the king is a scare card for both parties.
he
and if
could
you
have like
check-
super combo draws or something like jack ten of hearts, maybe.
So he responds if he raises by jamming. Okay.
He
I
does
I didn't know
have
if he had a
jams.
non-all-in, re-raise size.
I thought he would. I didn't think he would be jamming a ton, but
Yeah,
he definitely does.
His not all in is with kings and queens. Cause it blocks too
Mhm.
Top
much
two
of your
pair.
continues.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
the-
like, I don't know, man. I feel like this range is borderline fictitious. Like, I don't know too many people in game who are, I mean, some of these are two pairs actually. So I mean, that's
Yeah.
fair, actually.
Yeah, he's literally raising two pairs and open-ended.
I need a poker video where Galen's like, this range is borderline fictitious. And I'll be like, this bet is disrespectful.
I got a question, Peter. If
Yes.
we have Jack 6 of heart, right? And if Nick was saying the check, I think it was a 97% check. If we check and the turn is, let's say, 7 of club, and he
Okay.
bets 2, what's the response?
Let's take a look at exactly what it does. 7 of clubs and he bets 2.
I
That's
think
it.
we'll be calling a lot more because it's a card that's better for his range than ours.
So with our jack 6, we are still hanging in there.
Hey,
Like-
Pete, before we move to the next street,
Yep.
can we play out the scenario Nick said? So like, if we raise. Give him jam and let's see what we're doing with the pair and the flush draw. I think it's gonna fold.
Was it
But-
the
King of
king of
hearts.
hearts? And so he bets 1, 2, and we
We
raised to
raised.
5, 9, which was the recommended size.
Yeah, you have
And
to
then we
fold.
get-
I mean, it's not enough money. You're not getting proper odds.
Stuffs the turkey.
What are we doing with jack 6?
Jack
There it
six
is.
is
There it is.
Calling.
There it is. There it is.
Just enough equity to call. So minus
That's mostly
EV, but
folding.
It's losing money to call, but yeah.
Well, it's kinda like, you kinda just sleep in the bed you've made at that point, I guess.
So if you look here, ace 6 with the overcard to the king is a pure call and makes a
Oh, yeah.
ton of chips.
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
Jack
'cause you-
6. The problem is like when you hit the jack, sometimes your 2 pair isn't good here because his jam is based on having king 8 and queen 8
Mhm.
as his value here. So
Right, so you're gonna
Your-
counterfeit his two pairs with your two pair.
yeah, so your jack isn't good here, but your ace is always good when it comes. So,
Mhm.
yeah. So that's that. since you guys are talking about the idea of listening to yourself on such a recording, I would like to introduce everyone to the Poker Study for You YouTube page for yours truly. I will throw this in the chat. You guys can take a look. All of our previous study sessions that we have done are up here for your viewing pleasure at your convenience, and this one will be as well in the near future. And we'll be putting more future content up here. Of course, we also have links to
Follows and
our-
likes.
Oh yeah, follows and likes, follows and likes. Ride the bikes, the follows and likes.
Is it follows and
little
likes on a private channel?
Nice little shameless self-promotion there. All right. Let's get back to it. King deuce. Ooh, raise or fold.
Raise.
Pure raise.
All right, can't fool you guys. All right. 10-5-3. King deuce, high-low combo.
Yeah, I think we can barrel.
That small.
Yep.
What are you
I would
what are
bet.
you what are you representing here when you're betting?
I mean, I got a wheel draw.
You're just
Straight
trying
draw,
to
an
get
overcard.
better
get a lot of
king high
junk.
stuff.
You get some folds. He's gonna start folding right away. You start getting hands that have equity, just fold.
So with situations like this, you use kind of like a small bet size to protect hands like this when you bet with the strong hands in your range too. That's the whole idea of like a, when they say range bet small. So you're protected with strong components of your range on textures like this, and the only way the big blind can really combat that is by over folding. So you're just gonna bet here a lot. And like
Yep.
Ken was saying, you have the additional benefit of having a 2 which interacts with the 3 and the 5. So when we do get called, we still have we have ways we can pick up equity via straight draw and continue barreling. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm just thinking from the big blind perspective, I see like that 33% on a board like this.
Right.
I'm not
Well,
really
yeah.
I'm not really sure what you're what someone could be representing with that. So I'd probably raise it, honestly.
You're gonna get a lot of
yeah.
raise. You're gonna get to raise quite a bit here, probably 35%.
Yep, and you should be raising it a lot, but that's okay because this range has kings in it, it has aces in it. It has, the ace tens aren't in here a lot, but it's
We
got
have all the
queen tens,
sets,
jack
all the over-
tens.
We have all the sets, all the overpairs.
Got all the sets.
You have
This is
two
gonna have
over
10-5
cards that you're
suited,
gonna
right?
call. You have flush draws. You have like jack nine of spades.
So it's like, you're gonna get your hand burned essentially if like this is a balanced range versus an opponent who, is not leaving it too unprotected.
Right.
And
But as an
the-
exploit against population, you probably can check raise here because people are probably over C betting and then not defending against check raises enough.
For instance, Louis, you can check raise the crap out of Louis on a bet like this, on a texture like this, because Louis is gonna be using nothing but large bets with his value portions on this.
Oh yeah, I guess
So-
on this texture, it's not, it looks like it has a lot of small betting. 'Cause
Where
of
I
the-
get,
it's the straight draw. And so if you're like, oh, fuck it, bet large with all your value hands and someone knows that you do that, then yeah, you can check raise.
Mhm.
I get in trouble here, C betting, getting check raised and defending this fucking hand.
Yep, that is trouble.
But that's
You're
what
like,
I mean.
I
Is
have
like,
an overcard and a wheel draw, and it's like, no, you have a backdoor wheel draw, Ken.
And
and it's not even the nuts as well. Like I don't know. Like I feel like
I
betting.
feel like, are we
got-
defending a
gets you
lot
in
of the one
trouble.
card spades that have overcards? We're mostly defending those, right? Or we want two overcards to the 5 to defend?
with a spade.
I mean, because I know that over defending versus check raises can also make you money when you check raise in the big blind and your opponent over defends. And then you bet, and then they just are like, oh, what the fuck am I doing in this hand with king deuce?
Oh, don't check raise, check me though, cause you're fucked.
Well, after
Check
we do
raise,
this,
check
I'm
10 if you
curious.
have a value hand.
I'm
Yeah.
curious what because this was a check call, but I'm on the flop, but I'm curious after we're done with this, what the check raise response looks like.
Sure, we'll go back and take a look.
Oh, you're gonna have a robust check raise response here, without a doubt.
Well, we got a
Alright,
barrel
so-
now again.
I would
pick
like
up-
to go 3 barrels unless the river is a spade.
Okay.
Any non-spade river, I'm gonna be all in after this barrel.
Yeah, I'm kind of on team barrel too, Pete.
So if you're barreling, you're gonna polarize. How big are you
You can't.
polarizing?
You can't polarize too much because the flush came in. It's gonna dampen you a little bit.
Yeah, we can go 5.5, right?
I like 5.5.
I'm mostly checking.
No checks.
I think
Check in the
this
bank.
particular combo is because we have the deuce, which interacts with the straight there. And the ace is so good for us, right? So we can bluff a queen, we can bluff a jack. We can check back a king. We can value bet a 4. Like there's a lot we can do with this ace.
Alright, so Vince is made his bet. He's gonna line it pretty deep here.
Well, we didn't get check raised on the turn by a flush, so
Or the
he's
flop.
yeah, or the flop, so he shouldn't have a ton of flushes. I mean, I kinda wanna go. I'm like 18.5 here, I think.
Checking.
So I got one thing. I got, before you click anything, I'm not sure now because like we're doing, like, we have queen 2, jack 2, 10-2, or not 10-2, but 9-2. Like we have a lot of worse twos than a king 2, honestly. Like, is
You
this
play
so bad?
9-2?
Huh? Yeah, we raised all those, right? The suited on the flop,
Mm,
all of our 2x with an overcard to the jack, to the 10, so the jack, queen, king, and ace all raised on the flop, or bet the flop. So like, I mean, it feels like we might be just a little bit high up in range with this.
That's how I look
I'm
at it.
not-
I look at it, not even twos, but we have jack, queen, queen 9, 9-8, 9-7. Like,
Yeah, I'm giving up.
My problem is his range is so heavy with like 5x, 3x,
Yeah.
6x here. That we can apply a lot of pressure.
Yeah, like you were saying, I support, like, I think the ace on the turn helps us a lot. And then you're right, if he still has a 5x or even a 10x, a bet might even get him off those hands.
Fives probably
And-
start folding a lot on the turn.
Yeah, I think most of the 5x is folding on the turn, but if they had like, I've been seeing sticky players.
Yeah. I mean,
I
fives
mean-
would come for the redraw he's got.
I don't think we're bluffing with like king 9 plus, but I think king deuce might make it to be a bluff
Before
here.
we go back here, we'll come on over back here to the flop. And we want to take a look at the check raise strategy when we get check raised here.
Mm-hmm.
So say we bet 2. His strategy is going to be to check raise us. With 20% of his range, mixing between the half pot and small size.
Not quite, not as much as I thought, but still a good number.
Yeah, I thought it'd be a lot more too.
We'll take the primary size that he does it with. And our response is going to be this. All
The
55,
shoving.
hold 38, and some shoves.
your only
King
shoves are
2
gonna be
shoving.
with the flush
It's
draw.
gotta be spades, yeah.
Shoving king deuce suited and folding all the rest.
Yeah, see, like, well, for me, if you can push out all those hands, and then you see a turn, and then if the turn's a spade, you can be pretty sure that they have
got-
they hit something, or that they have overs that wanna give up after seeing a third spade. So you probably lead the turn after check raising with third spade, and if they call, then, and you don't have it, then you should probably.
Well,
So the
You could-
issue is
you-
that
you
the
gotta
range is
cons-
protected, like no matter what comes, like if the flush completes, the button's gonna have a lot of flushes. If there's 8 on the board, button still has pocket eights, he has 10-8, he has pocket aces, he has pocket kings. Like no matter what the card comes, I mean, look at how many tens he's continuing with, right? He doesn't fold a 10 still.
Yeah, you gotta be careful check raising just because you think they don't have anything. You definitely get to check raise a decent, 20%'s a pretty high number. You just gotta structure your check raise range well and then play well turns and rivers. You gotta know. Sometimes you check raise, you just give up. Like a lot of times if a high card comes, you're supposed to shut it down. Depending on whether you still have good equity or not.
Alright, so Vince was committed to stuffing this 6 of hearts. So
Mhm.
it is just giving up.
1 point for
Womp
Nick.
womp womp womp.
The
Point for
people
Nick.
who've been in the study group for a long time, I don't gotta tell you about my mom, do I?
Peter, what did Jack 2 do there? Was Jack 2 jam?
I
Jack
like
two?
betting with Jack 2.
Jack 2
Yeah.
uses the big size, uses pot size.
Jack 2 and queen 2. So they had king 2. See, I just thought of it. The more I thought about it, I realized that we had all those twos and kings
Yep.
might just be too good.
Interesting
yeah.
enough, king 7, king 8 are jamming. Oh, spades.
Yeah,
Just the
these are
spades.
spades. Let me
Okay.
get here. Right, the non ones just check.
Yeah, he's
Yes, so-
jamming the nuts. Shocking. What a weird play.
So yeah, your king high just wants to check and show down because it's the new ace high,
Yes.
right? And then your queens go for it, right? So your queens find the bluffs. They're the new king high. There. Right. It up.
Hello?
That's odd.
That was Peter.
Oh, thought we were off in outer space here.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Who's launching a space study? Who's running poker or poker study sessions in NASA? All right, ace high, jack nines, deuce. Lots of draws, no completed equity here. Bet or check.
So.
Jack.
Like. I would probably bet big with, like just jack 10. I think the other jacks, the queen, jack, king, jack, ace, jack are more mergy. To like the white color there.
Sure.
I think the jack of spades is a very valuable card here, so. I'm gonna bet small here pretty frequently.
What would you do with ace jack of diamonds?
Maybe more inclined to play check, I guess.
Okay.
Maybe I got that backwards. I don't know.
I'm betting small and like Ken said, I'm also betting large with like jack 10. Jack
Mhm.
queen.
I think jack 10's a great bet large.
Aren't you betting large with all your aces here, though?
No,
No, I would not be betting large with all my aces.
Not
here.
large, just betting small.
no.
So, I don't think we're gonna bet all of our aces just because of how condensed this board is. It's gonna interact well with the big blind range. We're gonna get a lot of check raises. You're gonna have a hard time continuing with like an ace, jack of diamonds, for instance. Like ace, queen offsuit. They're gonna struggle versus check raises, so. I would bet small here.
I think
think we're
ace
gonna
king
s-
and ace queen are still gonna bet for value, but as they
Yep.
get worse, I think they're gonna start checking.
I agree with that assessment, Nick. And like as you get down to jack 10 and jack 8 and jack 6 here, I think those are gonna check a lot more. So. Yeah, 25% check, 30% bet, but really you could bet a lot here.
You can do pretty much whatever.
And it's all
Close your
pretty
eyes and
much,
click a button, you won't be wrong.
so if we take the check line here, we just heard a pretty good card.
I like raise
Yeah, me
for
too.
value.
I agree.
5.9.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
Same.
Ooh,
It
just
is-
I
call.
was gonna call.
I
yeah.
was thinking about what our raising range is here, because I think that like the straight coming in makes it so that we have to up our raising range a little bit.
Yes,
But
we
I know that
just-
we do need to raise the disrespectful bet a reasonable amount of times, but I'm not sure what combos we should be using.
I thought
Um,
specifically ace jack would raise, and like, I thought king jack would call, and I thought ace jack would raise, to be honest.
I wonder
It
if it's 'cause
just-
we
it
have a
just-
spade.
Without the spade, do we raise?
Yep.
Yes,
without the
yes.
spade,
He
we-
doesn't like having the jack of spades.
Yeah,
Yep,
that's
Everything
what
else
I
is
was
fine.
thinking.
yep, you're right.
But it's actually
Right.
raising king jack more than ace jack, which is weird to me.
Well, he doesn't have ace jack in range, so it's irrelevant. They're both the same hand.
Ah, gotcha.
King jack can get outdrawn like that.
Yeah, that's true.
Alright. So now how greedy are you guys wanting to get here?
I'm
We just
overbetting.
call on the turn.
We just called.
Oh, we just called.
I would.
What's in the middle? What's in the
I
middle?
would-
8?
I would,
I bet 7 because I'm greedy.
I would
Over-
over bet.
I'm about to say that's not greedy
polarize
enough
it.
for me.
I
No.
actually like the overbet. I'm just not sure. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah, he's
I
got
think
jack
so, yeah,
seven, jack
I-
9, 9, 7, 9, 2.
I
and he's
honestly
got
think,
jack
I
seven,
honestly,
jack
I
2.
honestly think 10-8 or like any kind of attempt at completing the straight would have bet way more on the turn. So,
And they wouldn't check, they wouldn't check. So like, I'm torn here.
Unless they're
Like, I'm
check
torn
raising.
between. I'm torn
I don't-
between 13 and jamming, to be honest, because
I don't
he's,
think. Yeah, sorry.
So go ahead, Galen.
I was just saying I'm torn between jamming, because he's gonna have some weak ace X here. That's floated and continued, I think.
Okay.
At some frequency, and, yeah, you're just gonna put a lot of those hands in a hard spot, like,
Dooley, what were you about to say?
Yeah, sorry for cutting off, Galen.
no, it's fine, it's okay.
I was just, Gabe pointed something out, about the turn bet sizing. Does he have any, or like, what is the majority or the highest frequency bet size, with the straight on the turn? Like if he hits the straight on the turn and he decides to donk,
It
I-
would be polar. I think.
little mixed sizes?
Well, he's probably gonna mix sizes, but whatever is gonna need protection.
Never gonna be small, though. Didn't he bet small?
he bet
Yeah, he bet-
1.2, which
Yeah,
is
it's
so
not gonna be
tiny.
straight.
Yeah,
It should be closer to pot, if not more.
like I would wanna punish like Jack 9 suited or something that, you know, thinks they have the goods at showdown.
Yeah,
Right.
like I wouldn't. Feel like a lot of people get into this mindset of seeing monsters under the bed. To where we have a very strong hand, but it's like, well, what if he has this hand? I mean, the truth is, we're button versus big blind, we're at 40 big blinds deep, and we have top 2 pair. If he somehow has it, he has it, but we really want all the money in the middle somehow.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
I also think like the turn and river, like they're probably not playing. They'll never play aces or jacks like this, and they probably will never play their sets like this either. So flush draws that missed are just gonna get out, and the straight should have probably bet more on the turn to get more money in the middle so that they can splash the river.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Two pair at the end, are we overthinking
So-
it? It's gonna be pretty indifferent, isn't it?
Top two's pretty close to the nuts.
It is pretty nutty.
So what do you mean by indifferent? What are
Well, it's
we-
gonna be the EV of betting's gonna be pretty same, I think, across the board here, wouldn't it?
I mean,
I
I think
as
I think the overbet makes it look like you missed the flush draw because you have the jack of spades. That was my thought process.
Let's take a peek.
I'm betting 13.
7,
This
Too
seven,
looky
greedy.
there.
too greedy. So what does he call us with when we bet the bigger size here?
You're gonna get called by like jack 10, pair plus straight blockers stuff.
Does it only not like 13 because like pretty much every bad hand is gonna get out of the way?
We don't have any overbets here. Which is a little surprising, but probably just hard to balance.
Mm-hmm.
And it uses this size because the aces are pretty much all the same. Right here. So it just bets this wide swath with this here. And we're here with a lot of aces.
So some of
jacks-
those aces, are they gonna be, some of those ace, are they folding any of those aces if he jams?
If he jams us,
Yeah, I think some must be for protection and maybe some are folding.
when we bet the, what was it, the 7 size?
Yeah,
That's 7. His response is going to be this. When he goes all in, we are finding folds with lots of aces.
yeah, so that kind of makes sense now, cuz you gotta protect your aces. You gotta have the top protect the bottom. When you go for the value.
And I mean, it's a 0 EV to fold the ace here, so. Right? The aces are, it's okay to call them too, but I mean, when you get check raised on the river, they've got it. A lot. 7-5 suited, can definitely be a raise. Stuff, get out. I don't think anyone's getting too out of line here.
Mm-hmm.
Big 5 off. Oh,
I'm gonna fold it this time.
good job. Queen 8
But-
off
Peter, you put a trap in there for us and you fell for it.
twice.
The first time I said raise. And I'm like, alright, too wide.
I've seen it twice and in game I'm still gonna raise it.
Yeah.
Yep, me too.
Don't
You
care what that
guys are
thing
savage
says.
animals. All right. Well, I mean, it is bottom range, so I mean, if it gets in there, it gets in there. You guys are pretty good at playing post flop. Not seeing monsters. All right, Queen 8. Let's get in there. Oh, we get
Do you
raised.
fold? Yeah, you definitely fold this.
Yeah, when you're at the bottom of range, you get 3 bets. Easy fold.
Easy game, easy life.
Jack 5? That guy 3 bets with Jack 5 off. Ugh.
Suited fives, we should be opening.
Yep, all suited 5s. Part of our range construction. Okay, 10-6-3. We've seen a flop like this before.
Man, so if this was Jack 5 of spades, I would be like on board with quite a big bet here. Like maybe even over betting sometimes.
Ooh,
But
spicy.
because we don't have the over pair or the potential over card. I do definitely wanna bet this. This hand's got way too much potential and no showdown equity.
All right,
Yeah,
So I love a big bet, actually.
yep, there it
You are
is, 7,
correct.
6. So
So
like this.
the thing with this hand is, like you said, we're at the bottom of the range, but there's also so many turn cards we can barrel. We can barrel
So
a 4, we
many.
can barrel a 7, we can barrel a 8, we can barrel a spade, we can barrel, not a jack. But, 2. There's just so
Yeah,
much stuff that, and no matter what he folds, it was ahead of us.
Oh, this texture gets to overbet a lot from the earlier positions, right? I forgot about that. But yeah, I like this big bet with this hand.
Yeah, it's definitely good. And like, this is a pretty clean card, okay, so. We pick up equity. As
Definitely
marginal
barrel it.
as it is, you gotta barrel again.
so the other thing, it became a rainbow, so all his cards that were floating for a backdoor flush now have another reason to hold.
Correct.
So 8.9, is that enough?
That's what I was
So-
thinking, 9.
I'm torn, man, because we have 9 high. We need to bring some heat. I like 8, 9, but I might be on board with some 13 sometimes. I like 8, 9 though. I'm gonna do 8, 9.
So if you
Final answer.
had, prefers a check, wow.
Wait, why, how does it prefer check if if betting 9 is
EV.
more EV, yeah?
Well, I think it's because we went large bet on the flop, right? Is that what we did do a large flop bet?
Yep, we did. We bet the polarized size.
So like earlier, you know, when the first hand we were talking about and I was kind of advocating for a check after we did a large bet, it's because of this, stuff like this. It was a different scenario and the texture was a bit different, but usually when we make a really large polar bet on the flop, we usually kind of lean into these bet check bet lines a little bit more.
Yeah, the other thing is, this is probably the worst card for us to barrel. Right? The
Oh, it would
four is
be,
better
yes.
equity, the 7 and the 8 are better equity, and the spades are better equity. So this card wants to bet, but unfortunately, it doesn't change the nature of the board in terms
No.
of the.
But
top
isn't that
pairs and
isn't
middle
that
pairs.
good? Sorry to cut you off.
No problem.
Isn't that good though then to continue betting because it's a brick on the turn.
So not necessarily, because the hands that he's calling a large bet with. Like, okay, so name some draws that he's calling with on the flop versus a large bet. That, okay, so there's like 5-4, which we're blocking, not great. What about like 7-8? You think he's calling 7-8 versus a large bet? An under plus a
Unlikely.
gutty?
Yeah, unlikely.
Unlikely. So the fact that like Peter was saying, it's a relative blank. We're kind of like pushing him into value.
I think he has to call 7-8 just based off how dry the flop is. He's not gonna have enough stuff to continue, but. Yeah, he has,
Right.
his primary calling range to our flop bet is definitely pairs.
So they
Right.
go check turn?
Oh, we bet turn.
Oh,
He called.
I was gonna
And
say,
jam.
I would definitely
Pretty much
bluff
gotta
if we
check now.
but now I don't know.
No, you gotta go with it, man. The king's too
100%
good for.
jam. There's no other
This is a
option.
jam. This is a jam.
Hey,
I got much stronger convictions about this being a jam.
Same.
Yeah, you guys are right 72% of the time. But it is
So,
the primary choice here. There
The
is a
difference
bit of
between, the difference between this hand and like the ace nine earlier is that ace nine has showdown. 9-5, we have 9 high. Literally, it's hard to find a hand that we beat like 4-8 suited, right? But the entirety of his range beats us. We're at the stone cold bottom of our range and we're blocking the nuts.
Mm,
and he did the same thing. He called with a relevant nut blocker and top pair. Well, till the river.
And we rebuy.
And click. Table number 3, please.
Yeah. Alright, so. Queen deuce, very dry. The deuce, very disconnected. A jack's good to have here. I like a bet.
1.2?
I like a range bet small. I'm just betting the entirety
Very
of my range
small.
small.
Let's
Yep, I agree,
go
Nick.
small bet, 1.2 or 2, depending on how we feel at the time.
So our jack and our
Depending on
eight
how disrespectful we are.
both block the suited combos that contain a queen, the queen of spades here as well.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
I
like
think I'm
betting
gonna.
1.2 so I can call a check raise.
Okay. Let's look at. That is the preferred sizing. Great job. You can still see
Yep.
bet small here, but
Really
micro is
small.
a good.
Are we calling the
nature-
check raise or am I a fish?
That's a good question, Nick. I think we probably have to call. on a
Like, that's
board of
literally the
this
only reason I wanted to bet
texture.
1.2, so I could call a check raise.
I think
Well, we're gonna
Yep.
find out right now.
Yeah.
you call
I'm
this. It's
folding.
too small. You gotta call.
I
It's
have
too
to learn
small.
how to fold, so I'm folding.
I think calling is reasonable. I think we have to. I think we're gonna get raised at a decent clip, so I think, but not as
Ken,
much
what's
as
our
heavy
MDF?
board.
Doesn't matter. You know what might defend, you know what might fold the check raises, Nick?
Oh yeah, you said it was terrible,
Like
right?
18% or something.
Yeah, cuz population
Oh,
only check raises 8%,
So
so.
I have to
Sure.
learn to fold, so I just automatically folding for a while.
For the next 2 weeks, everyone get your check raise out when Ken's in the pot.
Gotta get my numbers in line. Then I
Okay.
can become, then I
Oh,
can be a fish again.
And just fold.
wow. You get the big polarized turn bet.
We have a ton of
Yeah, I
ace
did.
X that floated or that called the check raise.
So jack eight suited, we're only folding clubs to that check raise, right?
It's good to.
I mean, that's what I figured, but.
Good
So I was
float
kinda
Actually, with
back.
halfway
clubs,
kidding when I
I'm
said
betting, I'm
fold.
betting, 2 on the flop, cuz I don't care if I get check raised.
When we get here. Jack eight, it is defending all the suits. It is only starting to find folds with jack eight, but it's also bluffing. It's also 3-bet bluffing jack eight of clubs here.
So to make up
like
for
it.
the sliver it folds, it wants to 3-bet the equal amount that it folds.
What is our flop
basically.
strategy?
It's pretty cool.
Receive betting?
Oops. Sorry. We'll go back here. On queen, queen deuce. He checks, and our flop strategy is probably just gonna be betting range. Yeah, only 99.8%.
What
And
is
it
jack
is
eight of clubs doing? It's
all
all just. All small.
it's all small ball. Like you have your queens are using the big sizing. And your trash is using big sizing. Down here. And the big sizing 2 as opposed to 1.2 bigs.
Yeah.
Think about
Fine,
how many times can we fall into the same trap?
fine, fold
Raise.
it.
Sorry, I put other landmines in here. Alright, jack 3. Raise or fold?
Man, this one's close.
I think it's a GTO fold, but I raise.
Go
Yep,
to
same.
jack 4.
I'm
Jack
in
four,
Nick's
jack
I
five.
would
shoes.
fold.
Oh, jack 3.
Jack
I'm
3.
a little secret. I raise any 2 suited cards from the button. I don't care.
7-2 suited?
I do. Every single
That's
suited
nuts.
card.
Oh, you're whiter than me. Wow.
That's why I 3-bet you every time.
Yeah, well deserved. I only do that because I have a hard time finding all the offsuit ones.
10-8.
Offsuit 8, raise.
3-bet and out.
Man, we're getting bullied. This guy's Brazilian.
Oh, queen 7. Look at these guys finding sick 3-bets. Not betting us with pocket kings.
Do it again, nerd.
Come on, we're ready. Show us the king 7. Now he just calls.
I'm checking back.
I bet small because we have the king of hearts and we
I'm
got some
checking a lot.
barrels.
I'm
I
checking.
think
I
value.
this is
I
like a
check
pure
here a
check.
lot.
Yeah, I'm checking.
I think Ken was right this morning when someone said this was a tilt simulator this morning.
Ah,
we're
That was the
like-
limp pots.
Yeah.
I said it was a mindset training session.
So this is our best king. We really want to hit a queen or a king and have them hit a queen or a king. And we don't want to get check raised off our equity. Just
It's
immediately,
fair.
we can't call. And yeah, fuck.
Did it bet or did it
What a
not bet?
miserable bet too. I'm just folding.
Disrespectful bet.
I'm out.
Wait, you can't fold this, can you?
You're getting pretty good odds for your outs. I think you just call.
I bet
call-
king jack O for sure, I would say folds.
I
I think
like
like your offsuit ace highs of call, and then you start folding a lot of your king highs. I
So-
think. at this point.
So Peter, first question, did it have any bet frequency on the flop? I had closed the window for a
Yeah, it
second.
was a little, low frequency, 25% spread across a couple sizes.
Okay, and this right here, we have, with the king of hearts, man, we got bluff equity. Like, you gotta call.
Galen's
For-
already prepared to bluff the river.
For me, it's like you're getting what 7.5 to 1. Is
Yep.
that correct?
At
Something like
least you-
that. Yeah,
at-
I think with the amount of outs you have, it's a no-brainer call.
At least Galen call with a plan.
Yeah, I'm
It
looking
is.
for a king, queen, or a heart for the nuts.
0.03 EV call.
Yeah, never folds.
Done.
I'm like pure folding this in game just because I'm looking for better spots.
Alright, give him another one.
He gave you the Louis Philippe, man. This is annoying.
He gave you the Louis Philippe. Are you gonna give him the response?
I wanna see if king jack folds the turn when you done this.
Sure.
I don't know, man. I almost feel like you gotta call just to show it down.
We're never ever checking back two spades on that flop.
You
I
flipping a
think.
big blind just to see,
Yeah.
like, yeah, your pair of fours is good. Show it to me.
Wait, I feel like, aren't we checking back some spades on this flop? Like,
I don't
Yes.
think we're checking back spades on the flop.
You're always
think-
mixing, you're
I
always
think we're
mixing.
definitely mixing a lot of our
Okay.
ace high spades.
Yeah, I'm too nitty folding these.
Yeah, so king 9 and king 10 start to fold, and king jack and king queen defend.
Can I see the
Alright.
flop strategy?
And it
Sure.
was a 0.03 EV call,
Oh.
you can absolutely fold, it's not a huge.
Yeah.
spot.
Oh, I guess if it's so low on the flop to call there, then folding the river is obviously fine, even to the one big blind. See, that's where I'm such an idiot, like with the defense.
Can I
Cause I'm
see
like,
also the
oh, I
spade?
have to call, it's one big blind, but then it's like, if it was so low EV on the turn, but still a pure call. Then you're allowed to fold the damn river.
Sorry, what is that, Vince?
Can I see only spades in our hand?
Why is it not including? There we go.
Get all those spades, Vince.
What's our check?
King queen and
27.
king jack still wanna check.
Wow, I'm not checking enough. I'm missing 27% of my checks here.
You're just betting getting two spades. Yeah, so you wanna check the spades that block his continues to silver medals and stuff, right? So these high ones here. Right?
I like that saying, block his continues to silver medals.
And then these ones, they unblock him having like the slightly worse one, so these guys are okay as well. Alright. And he shows that the 9, how about that value bet on the river?
And I called it, flick in the
Worth
chip and
there.
show me your 4.
Yeah,
Whatever. Alright, these are fun hands to play, these high-low suited combos.
Check.
Sorry, excuse me.
locked
Yeah,
up equity.
I would check here, man. It's
Yeah.
fine.
It funds a bit, but primary goal is to check here. Your 6 just wants to get
Oh,
You gotta
Gotta call.
call, I guess.
or call 1. Look at 5 chips by calling here.
yeah.
He is
snap
so
calling.
bluff heavy.
Easy, check.
Check.
No.
Alright, Vince, what are you gonna do?
I'm gonna bet super disrespectfully small.
Are you gonna go one big blind and give it back? You're level, you're playing a
Oh.
leveling game.
You're
with
gonna
the
get jammed
solver.
on by 7-4 suited for a
Yeah.
straight.
Yep.
The problem
gonna
is when
try
you
and
bet,
trap
you just don't
this.
get called by worse.
Alright.
Never folding.
Alright,
I hate these spots.
lots of
Small bet.
Broadway balls.
Bet big.
That's small.
That's small.
3, 3, 5.
Why would you bet big here? This hand has like 0 bet big properties, unless you're like range betting big.
I'm
I would
betting a
bet-
lot of my range big.
I would bet small.
I don't think
here.
we are range betting big on this texture at all. But we think we check or bet small.
You're not gonna check
We're
a
never
lot
checking
here.
this one, so just, yeah,
don't-
bet small.
You don't
it's
have a
fine.
checking component on this board. Your big bets, I think, are gonna be from your strong hands and then your absolute junk. For
Mm.
primary components, and this one's wants to go
Yeah, you
small.
can bet big, you can do it all, and it does have a check range.
Do our pocket sevens turn into junk? when
The
it's
3
into small?
connected board, except for the one that ace king, has a check range.
I can tell you this, though, I don't know how to play like later streets if I bet big with this like part of my range.
You go bet jam.
It doesn't get any easier when you bet small and keep them in wider, and then you gotta keep barreling. I wanna get it over with on the flop. Ooh, my sevens.
So our range advantage here with like when he doesn't have ace king, when he doesn't have aces, kings, jacks, when he doesn't have ace queen, right? Ace jack, like he's just gonna struggle against our big bets a lot here.
hmm
We just get to apply a lot of pressure repetitively.
Yeah, it's an attractive one, right?
So it's just a kind of a polarized range bet. Right, which is why it also has checks. So. But this is well represented, 17%. Gets a fold from queen eight. He doesn't even continue with a gut shot here. The deuce is loose. Where is Louis Philippe? 10-5-3. Have we just seen a lot of 10 low flops today?
We just played this flop not too long, a few hands ago.
So check the deuces.
No,
When I have fourth pair, I'm gonna bet real big.
Hold on, I'm
Alright.
writing that down, Vince. Flops big with bottom. Okay. Yeah, so definitely you can bet and check here, well represented on both sides.
mostly check. Check,
Changes
I
very
guess.
little.
Do we ever
Half.
get the bluff here?
Yeah, I'm thinking let's
Dude,
raise.
we don't have a heart. We have the worst head possible.
But our hand has some showdown. Like we
Yeah, I'm
beat all
thinking,
the
what can we
bluffs.
get to fold? Like, do we get? A 3 to fold, a 5 to fold, an 8 to fold? I'm raising.
I think we can get a 3, 5, and 8 to fold.
Okay, how
Yeah.
big are you guys?
Mm,
How
It's
big are
so
you guys?
it's so passive. I don't think the solver will fold 8 or a 5.
18.
Dude, you
Or
guys are
maybe 11's
crazy.
enough. I think 11's enough, right? Is 11 pot?
11 is
Over pot.
yeah.
Over pot.
Pure
Yeah,
fold.
11's good.
Yeah, I'm with Nick, man. I'm folding
I'm
this.
I'm folding this too.
Okay, I'm calling this, but let's take a seat. Yeah. Calling or folding is okay
Louis told me to close my eyes and fold.
Yeah, this doesn't have attractive properties to bluff with. There's just better.
Yeah, I was thinking, don't
hands.
we want, we should rather have like a 9 or something.
You'd rather have some sort of blocker.
But
And
we
a weaker
unblock
hand.
everything.
That's a Louis Philippeism.
here. Yeah, if you want to stuff it, you do it with king 9 or ace 9 here. Right? So, blocking your, like, mimicking the value of queen 9 or 9-7.
Well, queen nine's the nuts.
Yeah, like these queen 9 and 9-7 are the value hands, and so it finds
Oh,
the
yeah,
nines
yeah.
that it doesn't have and matches those. Right, so 9-5 also does it. Right. So, yeah, when you block with a 9, you can get out of line.
Thought for sure there'd be a sliver of bluffing in there.
No, I just for me it's like once you don't get the set, you just move on.
All right. Top pair. Backdoor straight equity.
Bet small.
Well, maybe we'll get check raised.
I think you can mix small or large here.
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree.
Mostly large.
Mostly
We like
large.
can't go wrong here. Almost.
Change it up and take the bigger size.
The only reason
Besides-
the only reason I wouldn't like a small sizing is because you're letting flush draws potentially see like essentially free card. Like here, you want to punish people for trying to get flush draws as well. So I think 9 or 13 is pretty appropriate.
So the straight did complete here. Right, with 58, but that's not super probable. I don't think he has 5-8 off. He only has the suiting combos.
I think we bet 13. Never mind.
So, nope, little
I
big
take that
bear.
back.
Yeah, I was thinking nine seemed correct to me. It's weird that checking is. I guess the solver is afraid of like double flush draw out there and the 8-5 like you mentioned.
Yeah,
What
like there's gonna
is
be-
the MDF on a flush draw here?
You're only gonna call with combo draws, right? So straight draw, flush draw. Right? That's what I'm
Like
thinking.
what
against
what
this size.
amount do you call with just a flush draw
On the river.
on the
No,
turn?
so right here, when we take this big bet
Like
size.
what's the break even point of trying to chase that flush?
So when he checks and we bet, what size did we bet? 20? His response is, and let's include. So he is folding when he has the 9 of hearts. And calling with all the rest. And spades. And his spades are mixed. He wants straight interaction with his stuff.
So it's strictly combo draws?
Yeah, like he's folding king 10 of spades here. But he's calling king 7 where it has a pair and the flush draw. You need better than a flush draw to continue here. Right? You need a pair and a flush draw or a straight draw and a flush draw. So it's all combo draw related. And he has enough of them that he gets to call the overbet with combo draws.
If the bet is 13.45, what do the flushes look like?
I don't think it was a size that was
No,
offered.
it was 9. It was not 9 was the other like correct sizing.
So he checks. We take this sizing. His response with the flush draws is probably going to be call all the flush draws now. Yeah, now he just calls all the flush draws. Right, when we take the overbet sizing, he only does the combo draws. And he even raises back here with some flush draws. With his non-ace high flush draws. And he showed us a 7. King 9. We make a nice marginal made hand here.
Better check.
Better
Doesn't-
check. Bet or check. Heavily mixed between the two. Flush completes.
Bet half pot.
Yeah, there is
After
definitely
that.
some half pot betting. But the flush completing is not good for us.
I'm betting half pot with the intention to check on the river.
Okay. So we get to the river. Do we go for thin value with second pair here?
I bet half pot.
I think this is a 2-street hand. It's like our it's one of our best 9x. Like, I think if you have ace 9, it's like a slam dunk bet.
Okay.
I would bet here.
It is, and it's 4.5, 3/4 pot.
Hmm.
And how good do you have to bet? Are you betting all your nicks? Seven seats for the kind of draw types.
Is it going 4.5 to reduce the number of jams or raises, I mean.
Probably here. Right, it polarizes, so like here is our trash and our best stuff.
Vincent, I tell you this all the time, man. You like these little river bets. You're just asking for trouble, man.
Well,
It's betting all the nines, all the jacks, all the eights, pretty much. Checking a few eights. So you could go for it with with the top two pairs, and then with proportional bluffs. A pretty wide
So-
variety.
Yeah.
Because you played check for two streets, you get here, you get to have a big bet. And you get called by a 4. So
King high, we have the ace of hearts. I like a bet, man.
I'm C betting here. If the king is more in your range as the person who was racing first
I'm going to,
and not getting 3-bet.
mixes between micro and the small size.
I don't even have these like 25% on 40 effective.
But do you even GTO, bro?
I only VTO.
Little Bachman Turner overdrive. Little Canadians. Queen 10-6.
That's
I range bet this.
Yeah,
Range bet.
C betting this too.
I'm going to.
It is not quite range betting.
So we're all punting.
Well, it's okay
So
to bet.
it's similar EV.
Yeah,
This is
you're,
our one
those
check
are-
out of all of
when
the
those EVs are
of our
close,
whole
I mean,
range.
Plus against population, over fold.
Oh, we're supposed to check 25% on this board. This is some bullshit.
Well, we are pretty wide and we do have a fair amount of garbage and we want to check the middle aces, so.
I think it's
Did
because
I
the
hear
6.
that somebody say population overfolds? I don't know what population you're playing with.
No, the big blind has quite a lot of interaction with the 10 and the 6.
Yeah, and we just get,
So, yeah, I like it.
we just get to bet this circle very liberally, right? All the jacks, the 9s, the 8s and the 7s, so. It's gonna find some checks. It does find them with these, I guess. So we just have all the queens that we can bet for value, right? And pretty much all the 10s that we can bet for value, so.
It's over betting with aces.
Yeah, like this is a dangerous flop. Queen 10. So it wants to get the
I
money
expected
in.
I expected a bet big, but a hand like aces, I just didn't.
Well,
It
there's two
wants to get the money
combinations.
in right now before a card that comes that's like an action killer for
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
So yeah, so if you kind of look at it, like we're ahead a lot here, but right here where it starts to get close in equity, where we have very similar amounts of nuts here. This is where we want to have our protection with the big hands like pocket aces and pocket queens. Right? Or pocket aces and pocket kings, sorry, and ace queen. Oh, but he folds ace 3. All right, finally, we have waited all tournament long.
This is where
Fold.
both people fold for me. Yeah,
Check.
I would check here.
You
Alright.
can check or bet small. The nature of the board is gonna wanna bet, to be honest. Ace, king, 4, rainbow is a pretty range betty type of texture.
And we keep a fish on the line. With the right size bet. No, we can't even. on the line.
Just take solace and you were never getting another chip out of that guy anyways.
Yeah,
I was gonna check until there was a 10 on the river, and then he's gonna donk, and then I'm gonna raise.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah,
Craig
yeah.
up. He likes the 1.2 size live. Says people spaz on him with it. I can believe that.
Yeah, I agree.
Alright, so again, we get second pair on an ace high
It-
board.
1.2.
It's range betty though, this time I
It's
think.
Betty.
I would range bet.
1.2.
Picking the small size, it definitely likes the 1.2, hoping to get the spaz.
Okay, we
Pick.
get the call. The 10's actually not a horrible barrel card here. I think we still play check though.
I like barreling
We-
with the queen.
yeah, I like 3.3.
I think this is a two street, third pair. Is this two street? Is this, maybe this is just a two street board?
If
I'm
we
really
do bet,
conflicted.
if we do bet, I do like one of these kind of mergy small sizes, like the 3.3 I could see reasonable, but I play check here, I think.
Yeah, I might be auto checking this too much. I think this is a check.
5.5.
It's
I
kind
like
of
either-
tempting.
Like either a check or 3.3.
This
Mhm.
card is
Reasonable.
good for our range. So I think it's gonna wanna bet.
Alright, Pete, get
I am
spicy
so
with it.
wrong. It is not. It is
The
100%.
10's good for his range, our range. It's gonna be good for his range too. so.
My first punt.
Won't be our last.
And he has all the 8/6s of the world.
So our nines are primarily checking here. Our tens, which are the new nines, are mixing some small bets and some big bets. And our aces are just double barreling based on their kicker string, right? They just start checking their low ones and bet their big ones.
There also should be like a fair amount of 10x that he continues with on the flop. Just because it connects so well with the 9 and the 7 that he
Yep.
beats us now. You gotta call, I think.
What is a 4-liner with a flush completed?
Yeah.
Oh, it is a 4-liner. Never mind, I fold. Nope, you gotta
Ew.
call, I guess.
Gross. Yeah, I'm finding the fold here, but he has the ace of diamond. Okay. Yeah, just an ace is good.
Okay, we raise.
Well, what do they do?
Check.
I would play check here, I think.
So one thing that I tend to do is when there's two overcards against the big blind, I tend to stab. And when there's two undercards, I tend to check because it allows him to bet two cards on the turn that I'm beating. And I get folds from some cards that I'm losing to here.
So you wanna bet this.
Yeah. If this was 10-6-2, I would check. And if this is 10-8-2, I'm going to bet. But
I like that. That's a very thought out heuristic. You've told me that before. I just have a hard time remembering it for some reason.
Sorry, can you actually repeat that, please?
sure. So when there's two overcards against my hand, so 10-8 against the pocket sevens, I like betting the hand. And when there's two undercards, so when it's 10-6-2, I like checking. Because when I check, I allow him to bet with a 6 or a deuce on the turn sometimes. And I get folds when I would struggle to continue against a two overcards on a turn bet when he probes the turn.
I was gonna say from a
Right.
GTO
Ooh, I'm gonna write
perspective
that
though,
down.
I think this is a check because it wants to bet reverse linearly. So
Mhm.
like your 3s and 4s and 5s are gonna bet. And then your like
Yeah.
7s and 6s are gonna check.
Yeah, I like your idea though, Peter, targeting like turn probes and things like that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a smart strategy, the way you kinda have that constructed, and it's easy to remember from like an
Yeah.
implementable standpoint.
Nick totally has the GTO line down here where it's betting threes a lot, fours less, fives less, sixes less, and sevens the least. Right? And then nines are
Well,
different
direct
than
under pairs often want to check and like he said, like their first linear thing. So like nines and sevens are the direct under pairs.
so when we change this to the six, the sevens go from a primarily a
Start
check
mixing.
to a much more heavy bet. And when they bet, they use the bigger size here. Right? Trying to get value from these guys. Because he has to continue with a
Mhm.
six deuce here.
Yep.
So. Check.
Alright,
checks again.
I'm gonna, do I probe here? Do I probe here? It's a king. I kinda wanna probe it.
I'm gonna stab small.
Ooh, we bet a lot of kings on the flop. Though.
We bet a lot here.
I think I
Um,
just wanna take I'm gonna take a stab at this. And play a check on the river a lot. I don't know if that's like the GTO approved line, but that's how I would approach this often.
Overbet.
No, I
Over.
would bet small. I would probably bet small, to be honest.
I would probably check here. But
I would check here a lot, but I think if I'm gonna bet, I would bet small,
yeah, it's a pure.
which is not,
pure
which is
checks.
not great. From an EV perspective, it's a small bet's more attractive, but I mean, checking is where you go with this.
This is just a marginal made hand.
Oh,
Uh,
perfect. Easy game. You can just show it down.
Little bit of sickness for greedy value. He is a deuce.
Okay, can play this.
And raise it up. There's the 10.
It's not our best 10, so we might have some larger size here, but I think it's mainly gonna be like 2 or 3 big blinds.
I like 3.3 or 5.05. I
Same.
like the white and blue.
I think it's gonna mix the 2 and the 3.35. This
I
is
think
a
it's mostly
connected
large.
draw heavy board. It is using the 5 or
It's
checking.
checking. It's doing a lot of checking. Look at that.
What the?
Yeah, this is weird. Like, I don't,
Checking top pair, button versus big blind on a 10 high board? No.
I don't know how to play this node. But I mean, like, if you look at heuristically, tens are generally betting, but there's something interesting going on with like Jack 10 for some reason. Like, it's like an inflection point, like the worst ones bet. The better ones bet, but Jack 10
Oh.
is. I guess it's just
It's-
protecting the range, man. I think it's just trying to protect the range.
It
I-
prefers to bet a 10 with a straight continuance than
I was
this.
gonna say,
10 with a
because
jack.
you lack the additional equity, I think it is technically your worst 10. So it's
Yeah,
choosing it to check
well,
with,
that's fair. 10-4's in there too. Yeah, that makes sense. So
which
it
is.
is your
Yeah.
worst 10.
So-
Due to the
so
nature
this
of the board.
a weird outlier, right? Just because all of these 10s which are worse have better straight continuance.
Hmm. So yeah, Jack 10 and 10-4 are like nut low top pairs. Alright, check again. Are you gonna
Uh,
bet?
No,
I would check. I don't think
would check
betting's
too.
horrible, but I would check.
I'm gonna be catching knives on the river.
Alright, we can value bet.
4.5.
That or 3, one of those two. Both look like good numbers.
Both are really good.
Okay, fine, you win.
I said
King
I was
seven of
catching knives
spades.
on the river.
King of spades, 7 of diamonds.
I want to see it.
Want
Well,
to see the
you're,
king of spades, the 7 of diamonds?
well, Vincent, your mother would be proud.
You
Very
sly.
Look at
He
him
got
check
us.
that. Check the
He
turn
got
and
us.
check the river.
He got us.
That guy land a fish. Alright. Ace ace. It's gonna
I
be a
think we can
small
bet
bet.
1.2 here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, these two. And he folds. Okay, I think we'll do a couple of more, and we'll wrap up for today. Raise it up. Ace high board with another Broadway.
1.2.
Yeah, this is very range betty. I would go 2 big blinds here.
Yeah, there's gonna be some components of bigger bets with 2 Broadways as well,
Mm-hmm.
but not with this hand specifically.
Solver likes small range bets.
They're just really efficient, man. It's like, they
Like
just get a
my
lot of
river bets.
folds. Exactly, exactly.
I think I'm gonna
What
check a lot here, and if I bet, it's gonna be like over pot, which would be
Yeah,
stupid.
let's check. I would, I would check.
98% check. Clear marginal made hand.
You know, let me think about this for a second. Okay, so
There's only two combinations of 6, or one combination of 6-5 that he could have, and he'd never play 5-2 like how he did.
I'm just torn between calling and like making a pretty grande raise here.
I wanna
Because
see.
I think
there's
we
a
don't
lot
have
of,
check
he's gonna have a
size.
lot of bluffs on the river. I think, like there's a lot of runouts where he's gonna have bluffs here. And, I don't necessarily know.
I like
Yeah,
raising
I
to
don't
like
know.
13, just stacking off.
I don't hate that. I'm curious if we can play for it all on the river. I'm torn between, okay, so I'll say this. 14 or call.
There's just, I don't know what cards are bad for me when he's bluffing. There's so many. Literally put any card down, I'm like, well, he could have hit that.
Well, that's part of it, right? Like you just kinda have to buckle up and, play calls on the river.
So do you want to get the value now before the board texture changes?
We're getting owned regardless, right? By like a 3 of spades. So like,
Look, right now, we're happy to stack off with our hand if he 3-bet jams us, right?
We want to get value now.
So, yeah,
I think we're in this spot where like even when we jam, he's still gonna call off with worse, but with like a lot of equity.
Yeah, his call
Mm.
will be like at worst 32% if he's finding it, right?
Yeah, honestly.
I
it's
think
gonna
I
be very
like calling
strong.
here and then just calling the river too.
I'm kinda torn, honestly, like I don't know. I think in game, I'm just playing raise here. For the reasons we've kinda discussed, but like with my theory cap on. It might call.
I'm on Team Grande.
I'm gonna
Mucho.
raise, get the chips in before the board texture changes or the equity completes. But
So,
calling is also very reasonable here.
Yeah,
calling.
I was
it
between
does
call
have
and raise to
merit.
14.
And we'll take a look at the picture of
So what
fives
is,
here.
what does it do with the ones that have flush draws?
You don't mix between overbets and that sizing.
It's
So
just
there
raising
is
its best.
quite a bit of calling with 5x here. It's
Yep.
not like just a slam dunk raise situation. Following like the logic we were kind of like justifying for the raise.
So it's raising based on its kicker strength, but not wanting to block the opponent's bluffs with an ace, I guess, the wheel.
Well, it's kind of interesting how there's kind of this kind of like, it plateaus at queen five here. Like, I agree with the ace five assessment, but what about king five then? That's the weird one to me. Like,
I would expect this to be full frequency as well.
yeah, that's kind of what's weird about that, but.
It still wants to shove with nines or bet big with nines and jacks and just call with kings and aces.
Right, so like, some of the jacks and nines are super vulnerable still at this point. So like, I definitely can like mentally co-sign like not playing bluff catching on the river. Like, we're just gonna be in really bad spots with some of those.
And you're also not gonna find yourself with jacks or nines on the turn without betting big on the flop.
Check,
very
easiest
often.
check of my life.
Yeah, I'm checking
So,
here.
so like, this is a tough one now, right? Like, we're not gonna get any value here. Like, you can't get value here now. Like you guys said, the board texture has shifted again. Easiest check of your life, whereas opposed to like, if you play calls on turn. If you play calls on turn, he's gonna have to bluff this like full frequency.
Yeah, and if you bluff jams, like you have to give up your set, I'm pretty sure.
Oh
There's no,
no, I think
Nah,
we're
solver
calling.
won't give up.
No, no, you call, yeah, I don't think so. If you play call on the turn and he jams this river. I think we still call all of our sets,
It was the three
blocking
of
all of the.
hearts.
It was the 3 or 4, I forget.
it was 4 of hearts.
I would be surprised.
Difference, but we'll take 3 of 4 hearts in. Same, yep. And so when he rips it,
So they're
It's
indifferent.
half. Yeah,
Yeah, they're indifferent, but they're in there some.
he doesn't actually have a ripping size though. He is
Oh, that's
betting
a good point.
small on all rivers.
Well, see, this is, okay, yeah, the 4 is such a like equity shifting card. That, it just kills the sizing. Like, if
Yeah.
you made it the 4 of clubs or something, I wonder if it would still kinda go bananas on rivers. Like, there's a bunch of fun runouts here. So, nope,
0.
there's some larger sizing now. We got some 13 in there, some 13.5 now.
Yep,
And there's a lot
13.
of 9.5. But, now if you made it like something like a complete air ball, I wonder like what would an air ball be? The jack of clubs?
No, we
I
have a
think,
jack.
yeah, I'm just
Uh,
saying from a range perspective. It's a seemingly airball card. Like, what's it gonna do to the range?
His range
So,
uses a medium sized bet now.
right, so now it just condenses around this medium size. Still no jams note.
So I guess, it is a paired board, so it sizes down. It has locked up equity with the straight that's already flopped. Right, so it
Mhm,
just doesn't get the
mhm.
big bets here.
Yeah, you're right. I think that's it.
Either way, gross. And what
Um,
does he actually have? He has a 6. Here we're trembling at our boots with trip 5s and he's got a 6.
Mhm.
That's
Alright,
too funny.
okay, you win. Nice hand. Catch you later.
Try that now.
Do it
but-
again. Yeah, do it again. I dare you.
Okay.
Okay,
1.2.
so we can go larger here with this portion of our range, I think. Like, I don't know, like it's kinda range betty, right? But, it's gonna stay smallish. I think you may have some 3.35 here with this combo.
Right.
Okay, it's 5 there. It is gonna have some bigger sizing, even over betting.
Wow,
You're
Lexi
gonna
size
find a
up.
big bet. This is the
Size
one.
up for value. I mean, I guess there's a lot of draws available.
Well, it's just, you got all the other aces beat.
Blast.
Mm.
The straight
So,
completed.
yeah, I feel like the straight might dampen us a little bit. He shouldn't have too many combos of that. I
fun.
do like
Mhm.
that. I like the 8.9, I think.
Okay.
Maybe bigger, but I like 8.9. Okay,
Vince is
bigger.
right.
Mm.
Bigger. Bigger, badder kicker. Get it in before the 7 or the 6 comes on the river.
Or
the
a
spade.
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 There's lots to fear. We are still best.
Ugh.
Check.
Do we care is my only question.
You guys
I
gonna
like-
let this stop us?
We saw this earlier, I think, a
but-
similar scenario. It still goes for it.
Yeah, it's only a half pot.
Yeah.
That was really close.
No,
Well,
man.
there's another component here, okay, so like, we played bet and we polarized the turn and he didn't donk when the equity shifts with a 10 like that. Like, all of his flushes, some of his straights, like, anything that is gonna be beating us is gonna fit into that donking range, I think, on the river. Like, I'm not 100% sure about that, but I think it's gonna be a pretty prominent component of what he's doing there.
Let's take a look at his river lead strategies. That'll be the interesting part here. So after the 10 comes, what is he betting?
So it's flushes really is what it looks like,
Betting
and flush
6%.
blockers. It's not huge. It's
Yeah,
like flushes and flush blockers.
Ace, the 7 or 9 of spades blocking the straight and the flush. And some small flushes. And blocking the straight and here.
Mm-hmm.
Ace that
Yeah,
blocks.
so. It's really not too big of a component of the range, to be honest. I thought it'd be bigger because we polarized the turn so much.
Would it be a mistake to adjust there? I feel like my player pool is not calling with ace 3 on the river.
Yeah, I
Well-
kind of agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know, like if you don't have those portions of the range to target, like where are you getting your EV from?
But I mean, sometimes you do have notes on a guy that says, guy calls off with top pair, garbage kicker, streets.
Brown tag.
Alright, are we running it here?
I think we can just
Yes.
call.
I
We
like
don't
jamming
have
from
to
the
go all in
button.
here.
I think from the button you're jamming.
No.
Nope, it's just a call. It's jamming worse than better, I think.
Okay, this is just middle of the road. Cause
I
his
think
jams,
so.
Is it jamming worse? Oh my
It is jamming
God.
worse.
yeah, it's jamming
Pocket
worse than jamming.
threes. Come on.
Come on. Love it.
It's worse
If
than
it's
better.
jamming pocket threes, why not pocket deuces? Because like you unblock the ace 4, ace 5. It's the same same
Yeah,
logic.
you know, Vince, like when you're at the bar. And you say like, well, why not 5 shots of tequila if we've already had 4?
Exactly.
So like, at some point, everything's gonna fall apart and you're gonna end up drunk in a ditch, so.
You still have to get
Let's
on
not
the
end
bus and go.
Yeah, let's not end up drunk in a ditch.
Alright, easy call 1 street. No worries.
I was tempted
Ooh.
to raise.
I'm worried.
Oh no.
I think we check here.
I like check.
Yeah, check it makes sense.
Get some showdown maybe.
Yeah, we have a marginal made hand with a full house draw.
Can bet it.
Now we just
Alright,
chain
man.
fold.
We lose everything. He's
I
got ace
believe
king.
you.
Yeah, the 10's really bad on the river.
A little dirty river.
Dirty, dirty river.
Okay, we raise. How range betty is
The
this?
solver always likes the big sizings when you have top pair. Or
Well,
that's what I've
not with-
noticed.
there's already a
Not with
made
your-
straight.
It's not with your worst top pair sometimes.
Yeah.
So-
it's,
I like a small bet. I'm going 2 here. That's what I
I
do.
like to.
So the king high board is gonna want to bet a lot. King
I
with
like
them.
5.05.
Yeah, I like 5.
I also like 5.
You crazies.
It's a
You can't go
made
that big.
board.
There's a made straight out there. And you got no backdoor equity.
Alright, let's take these.
Okay, there
Not
is
quite a
some
five.
3 in there.
Three.
There is some 3 in there. That's more than I was anticipating.
I just want to point out that all the EVs are the same.
Yeah.
I've been hurt.
Here we're all worried about he's just got jack 6 off.
Exactly.
He blocks the nuts.
Raise.
Alright. Oh, jack
Um,
10 without a flush draw.
so this is one of those boards. If we had one of the backdoor flushes, we would see large bets, I think. But since we don't, I still think we're gonna do some betting, but smaller.
I'm gonna check a
Wow.
lot.
Still a high-low combo.
Yeah, I know the solver goes crazy with this specific board. Jack 10 low, but I have no idea how to play this hand.
It's still just a small bet. We're range betting here with this one.
Mm-hmm.
And he leads. It's time to get out.
Man. Is it though, Pete?
It is. He
Okay, I
floats,
fold.
he calls some 2s and then he leads some 2s. And we have queen high.
Yeah.
Oh,
See, that's what I was thinking, Pete. I wasn't sure.
It's the high-low combo with the straight interaction, but like. When you take this line, like. If you don't get the fold, I mean. Where are you going?
Well. The road less traveled, I'll put it that way.
You just had to check. No matter what line we take, it's gonna be hard to.
We can bet this one. We can raise this one. It's
Queen
close. I
7
know.
off. Ooh, custody.
Let's get in there. I'm betting this. Honestly, you might be able to bet a little bit larger if it wasn't a 7, let's say if it was a 6 or a 4. It would probably be larger. This might have some larger bets.
Yeah, I think the 3 is disconnected from the bottom of his range a bit, so I think it's not gonna need the larger bets. The 3's not,
Mhm.
the 2s and 3s. Yeah, I think if it's a 4 or a 6, it's gonna large bet, and like this one is still just gonna small bet, but it does have a component of large bets, 30% across the large betting sides.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
50% small, 30% big. Really can't make a mistake with this.
This is a polar turn. We're gonna bet like
yeah.
8-4 here or 5-5.
I'm getting crazy with it. Yeah.
Easy.
I
Alright,
don't think you can do that too much, man.
it's close. The EV is only marginally different, but. We'll take this line, which is much more prevalent in the strategy.
And we get a fold.
Folds a 3. I guess he folds 3s and 5s there, so it's pretty good.
Alright, I'm gonna take off after this one. It's getting late here, boys.
It is getting late here too. I did say that I was gonna wrap it up and I've just kind of gotten drifted into the.
Hey, man, when you're having fun though.
Bet 3.3, so I can be all in on the river.
I like 2.
Alright.
Yeah, small, I guess a paired board is even this texture, but it's the small size and then has some checks. Nice.
Alright, we got a fold. That one was kind of undramatic, so we'll give it one more. Oh, here we go, the
Pocket-
deuce.
Pocket
Damn.
deuces.
The
Can we get a
ultimate
punt?
unblocker.
Just hit the set.
We can probably bet large here.
Really?
I think this is just a check.
Why do you say there's a large bet here, Galen?
So, because it is a low connected board, which is going to interact well with his range. And we benefit greatly from folds. And we do have some interaction on the bottom end. Some of these under pairs do this sometimes. It may be too connected. I mean, this is kinda like a donk board, so maybe I'm just blowing smoke.
Yeah, I gotta be honest, I'm hoping for a 2 on the turn.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I'm blowing smoke.
Yeah, the connectivity of the board is just too great to overcome. He just has too much interaction with it.
We get
Yeah,
a
maybe.
free bite of the apple. We gotta take it.
I caramba, man. This is why
Alright,
I fold these hands pre, by the way, cuz I don't know how to play them.
just check. You have a pair.
Oh boy.
Alright, you're
I'm
gonna
in
bluff the
trouble.
ace? You gonna bluff the ace,
Yeah.
Pete?
Yeah, we're gonna bluff. Cause we get here with a lot of ace high.
He's checked it down,
4.5.
man. He's either got air or he's got like a 4 or 5 here, so you gotta bet a little bit larger.
9.
I don't
No,
think the
no, no,
solver
no,
will
no.
fold anything.
No.
Even to an overbet.
Oh, he's definitely folding something to an overbet.
Yeah, we're good. We're going for value here with an ace a lot, so yeah, I'm gonna go with this. Nope, it still just checks.
JK,
That's sad.
that's why I don't know how to play these, and he's gonna beat us. No,
Look
he
at him.
didn't beat us.
Jack high,
I
he just
too.
gave up. He
Airball.
just gave up. Where's the deuce on the river for us to get all this chips?
Alright,
Lose, never
gents.
lose.
It was fun.
Alright, guys, it has been a good session. As I said earlier, I shared in the chat, the YouTube channel is up there. There is the previous few weeks of study sessions. This one should be up probably tomorrow or the next day. And yeah, we will see you guys next week. Thanks, Ashman. Thanks everyone for coming in and hanging out.
Thanks, P, for hosting.
Thank
problem.
you.
Thanks, Pete. Great session.
Good session, super useful.
Thanks, guys and girls.